Well, hello everyone. You hear by go by saying it's like a song right here, and you see right here is I went ahead and you put together right here is this drawing, painting right here, working with Photoshop right here, and I mainly want to talk about the job search, and I know that nowadays it seems like that you have email and especially accounts and all that other stuff, if it's multimedia, all that other stuff. But let's just say that maybe that if you're going to be you sign into your mobile phone, into your account, maybe from a phone, or maybe that it could be an office computer, or maybe any other sort. Maybe a career center if you're going to be getting on computers from there, and want to know just a little bit too to where a best way of how to describe marketing and maybe if it's job search. So let's just say that yeah, with the job search though, how many of us are really going to write a song about looking for a job? But let's just say that maybe if it's looking for love. But this song right here that I went ahead and wrote right here, talk about classmates though. So let's just say that a lot of classmates would maybe ask each other to where that what are you going to do whenever you graduate and after you graduate. So whenever I was writing this song right here, that during that time, that was whenever I was about 12 years old. So this right here will be example right here, me right here, along with a young classmate, and so it seems like that, yeah, back whenever you were in the fourth and fifth grade, that seemed like graduation day was in about 10 years from now, and so the only thing that I could really think about is that getting to know the classmates more, and so that's why I wrote the song. And one of the songs I can say something I can tell and nothing I can explain, but something I can imagine being with you, and so it's like say yeah, whenever I can remember that. It was a music class actually. I was in music class, and there were songs that the teacher was showing all of us, and one of those songs that I can remember was that yeah, they go by that there's different tones of it's like different sorts of music that which you can maybe remember about what they sang during music class. But I think one of the reasons why I did this drawing right here was mainly to impress one of the classmates. And so that being that you're young like me, back whenever I was young, whenever you were about maybe 9, 10 years old, that you want to impress one of the classmates, and you're going to go ahead and write a song. And one of those phrase of how you want to say it is like if it's something for you or if it's about being with you. And at the time, that if I were to start it by saying to where being with you, then a lot of those other classmates are going to probably wondering that, well, what are you talking about? What do you mean being with you? And so let's just say if I were to be using this right here as an example right here for like, maybe coming back from spring break, and let's just say if I write maybe a letter to one of the classmates, such as, being with you. And I know, even if it was, in the cafeteria, on the playground, or anywhere like that, or in the hallways, that you're going to maybe seeing some of these classmates. And so whenever I was up, and I know I've been working on a song for quite a long time, since 1994, and that's what that is right there for a song in 1994. So I know back then I liked recording my voice on the tape recorder, and one of the so far songs that I did want to write about is so far as making friends. My grandma, she asked me, "Do you have any friends?" And so that was, I think that was one of my major goals. Other than maybe any concerns about vocabulary and spelling, was making friends. Connecting to the classmates. Making friends. So it seemed like a lot of times that a lot of those classmates were not going to want to talk to you and get to know you anymore unless if you are friends with, if you have a relationship, if you're connected to one of the most popular gals in the class, and especially during science class, and doing work on a certain project. But I remember that, yeah, I was in the bathroom whenever I was singing the song, and I used to like singing in, I'm like, yeah, singing shower and all that, but still, I know that talking about job search though. So let's just say that if we all were to, like, especially like on a Sunday afternoon, like on St. Patrick's Day, if we're going to go ahead and get in the habit to where that we go ahead and just do something for fun, for in the fun activity, and let's just say if you sing a little karaoke, And let's just say if you do get carried away, and maybe if you write a song, you take about maybe 3 minutes to write a song, and one of those is about the best ways of how to know my classmates. And so it's like say being with you, here's a surprise. Being with you, next time we can share. And so yeah, that being part of meeting new classmates, new friends. It seems like how does it really going to start, and then it really about the ways of how it's going to relationships going to last. But still, back whenever you're young, it seems like that maybe you just want to experiment around with certain things. But still, that really though half the time it seems like if it's really good enough, really just to show and express your feelings about okay, what exactly are you trying to say to this person? And did you write them a song, or did you just really write the song about the connection, about the relationship? But back whenever I was 12 years old, then I did talk to a lot of the girls in the class, and yeah, that I could probably say too that one of the differences was because that yeah, we were not in the same classroom together, for reasons, and we were not able to talk to we were not able to interact much with each other, and for reasons, and so that's why that yeah, especially whenever I had to transfer from different schools, that you're going to be talking to other classmates, and so that's why that I mentioned on there about say imaginary friends. And but the song goes by saying is to where that yeah, they say for how I met the person, and then for my feelings about them, and as well as getting to know them a little bit better. And so that's why that I started this so far saying is to where something I can tell. It's like yeah, whenever I was very young, I was very shy in front of a lot of the students until knowing about the only time that you would really speak up, maybe if the teacher had a question to ask you, and one of those questions would be as to where's the assignment, Matt? You were supposed to turn this in, and so yeah, a lot of times that the teachers will be asking you to turn something in, or something like that, but back whenever I was young, that yeah, having to move from school to school was one of my biggest challenges, also, and then also about one of my biggest struggles. And so it's like whenever I was talking to a few of those classmates, and but still, we did not really talk too much about applying for a job. So half the time it seems like that really though that one of your very first jobs that you might not even know it either. One of the very first jobs that you might have assigned to you is more likely is toward it the best source of communication, as well as checking about your emails, and as well as like your concert tickets. So let's just say that maybe if one of your jobs is to maintaining good concert tickets. So let's just say that if you're going to maybe be working at a music store and somebody's wondering to where, excuse me, do you know where I can buy a concert ticket, to see you? So yeah, if it's concert tickets or any other sorts of questions, and some of those questions you may think is to where this person did not really come at the right place just to ask that. But let's just say that this right here, if we can all see this right here, that this right here is supposed to be in the cover right here, for the song that I wrote. And I know that in case of anybody that may ask me that where the rest of the lyrics, but I know that I mainly want to talk about for what we call between the real reality in career and compared to a toy. So whenever you were first introduced to maybe the boombox, or if it's the CD player, that you thought of that as a toy, right? You did not really think about it as a passion or a career. But let's just say that if you did go to a concert, and let's just say if somebody was willing to pay you a little bit of money, maybe just to do maybe to write a song, or maybe do a few dances with somebody. Yeah, if you were to learn a new dance, a new skill with dancing. So it's like, yeah, at first start out by that you had to explain to this person about how well that you speak very clear, about your language, but then also about how you dress, but then are you a good dancer? So for how people meet, but the first thing I more likely would have mentioned to the student if they were a girl would be is to word it, hey, I'm only in the fourth grade, I'm not going to be graduating anytime soon. So we all know that nowadays, for the high schools that they have the senior proms and all that, but still, though, that whenever homecoming was coming around, senior proms and homecoming and all that stuff was going on. So I would say that something like this would be something to display at, maybe in the gymnasiums. So likely one or two that yeah, especially if it's homecoming night, or if it's going to be prom night or something like that, then you would have it to where. But still, I don't know about the phrase, the place like this right here, but that to me it's like, yeah, the way that the girl, and that, like me though, but still, whenever I'm going to be looking at this, that mainly talking about the music that I was thinking about, during the time, anything that I want to share about, also talk about for classmates. But let's just say that if this was supposed to be, I'm like, yeah, if somebody were to give me an idea of like, hey, you should do a poster design for maybe for the homecoming dance or something like that. So it's like, so yeah, that you get one idea after another, but still though, that you're checking our emails, and as well as if it's going to be phone calls or anything. But let's just say though that during maybe during the weekend though, that if you thought that maybe this was supposed to be like just for fun, but then possibility that saying somebody may call you and tell you that people were able to see a lot more than maybe what they realize, or yeah, some being with you, they may think that this right here is supposed to be like a romantic, it's supposed to be what you call, you're scheduled to have a special dinner with this person, or the managers. I'm like, yeah, it could be maybe the custodian, or like somebody's daughter, they put in a request to have a special night out with you or something like that. So it's like, so how does it all start out? And it seems like, does it really affect about the fact about how many people that like it, or if they really find it appealing? And then, as well as, really, they are really that curious to know that at first it starts out by saying to where you start out the sentence by saying, something I can tell. What is it you can tell? And if that's supposed to be an ad, or, if that's supposed to be a verb or a noun or something like that, something that you can tell. So let's just say that the teacher could only see this right here, something that I can say, something I can tell, and they're going to say that, what does that mean? Something you can tell. And then being with you, well, what's this all about? So it seems like that whenever I'm going to be working on an example of a poster design right here, that somebody's going to maybe look at it, and then it's possible that you're going to be, you mainly were working on a song. It was supposed to be for like a song, from back in 1994. So let's just say if somebody who hasn't seen it before that might come up to it, they'll likely say that okay, if you're going to maybe be using this for like maybe for an ID card or something like that, but still anything anything that maybe for business reasons, or like any of those ID badges that they use nowadays on social media. But half the time it seems like that yeah, that whenever you're working on something, and half the time it just seems like that really though, that it was nearly 15 years ago, and what you were mainly putting together right here was not really for a job interview or any sorts of promotion, sales, or something. Somebody that may say that you ought to use that maybe for like a good marketing tip, who's willing to buy it. But really though, I would say that who's willing to listen to it, and maybe read more details. So half the time, if this was supposed to be like an advertisement right here, and in case of anybody that may want to word it, what are you going to include on there so far as for best of all? I'm like, well, best of all, it works, or maybe you can include, I can maybe include on there to where that, yeah, that if you want to win a date, like really, how many of us would probably say that, can you really win a date with that special guy or that special girl that in the class? But still, though, that talk about for classmates though, that something I can tell, and so that's why that I include all that. But still, that I know that even though 15 years ago, and we're gonna say that yeah, finish the song. It's like it's nothing I can say, nothing I can tell, nothing I can imagine being with you, and so that's another way of say about the song. But anyway, but talk about for jobs. As I say, it's not a toy, but still that you look at it more is that really just knowing what you're doing, on that, electronic tablet, especially on the computer as well, and for knowing about, for how things work. And say that, yeah, they work a little bit differently, but anyway, but talk about, for something I can tell, your classmates. But anyway, thanks for watching, everyone, and have a great day.